What's up, you guys? My name is Fnaf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So in the last episode, we did a showcase on Sengoku Batman, or Samurai Batman, from the movie Batman Ninja. In this episode, we're back with another wave on Five Nights at Freddy's. And this one I'm calling the Sister Location Edition. Well, Sister Location 1, because as you can clearly see, we have three characters, and none of the rest of the Funtime crew. I didn't make the rest of them because I felt like this one was already delayed enough to where it's the points that I needed to get it wrapped up in time, because I want to get close to like the other customs as soon as possible. So this one felt kind of rushed, but luckily not too much. So for these characters, we have the purple guy, Circus Baby, and Ennard. Is that how I pronounce his name? But he's the weird animatronic that we don't really see until like towards the very end of the game. But I still felt like I should get a chance to make him. So, as you guys know the whole drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, do a review on them, explain my process, why I went with this route, and then go from there. So, without further ado, let's get the showcase on the road. Alright, so first up is, of course, Purple Guy, which this one probably is the least customized out of all of them. Like, this one, it took a day just to build it. It's like, just to find a good enough of a body that I wanted to do. I originally was just gonna have, like a police uniform. Like, as you can see, there's detailing on the police of, like, what I would imagine what the security guard would look like. So originally, the body was a police uniform that I found in my drawer it was like, wow, I can't believe I had this. So what I did was, my original goal was to just, like, take the dark blue and repaint it purple, but because there were, like, a lot of details to it, I just decided, you know what, let's do the badge and also, like, the little radio, and then that should be good. And then afterwards, I went back with a Sharpie, did a detailing on, like, the lines, where the collar would be, the pockets, and then went back with gold paints to paint on the buttons and everything. He's also got, like, a little security guard hat. This was something from, I got on, like, a couple of packs, like, 2 years ago, like, when I was in, I think I was in Idaho, and I found, like, a Lego store, and in, like, one of the packs, I originally got the packs because of the tonfas for Black Canary, but it was a police pack, so inside it contained, like, a couple of, some of those caps. So I decided to use one of those for Purple Guy. And at first with Purple Guy, this one is completely on my own idea, because the only amount of reference I'm really given from the Fnaf games is 8-bit. It's pretty much an 8-bit sprite that you get in a minigame. And I don't know how to make a minifigure look 8-bit. And I don't think Minecraft would count. But pretty much, I came to a point where it's just like, this is going to be another one of my own special custom designs. I think the one thing I don't really like about this figure is the face. Not in the sense that I don't think it's a bad face, but when just looking at this face, I tried to make it as creepy, like a creepy sort of face to represent much of the character, and he looks like a drunk alien. Like, hang on. Can I remove the hat? I think I can. Oh. Wait, maybe I can't. Oh, wait. There we go. And you can see, like, where the original head was. But just looking at his face, he looks like a drunk alien, is what I describe this thing. So, it definitely adds to the creepiness, at least in my opinion. And if it's not creepy enough, I apologize for that. But, in general, it looks like an alien went out to a bar, and this is the result. So, probably the least customized minifigure out of all of them, and I figured that since I was doing a Fnaf showcase, I should at least do, like, the main villain. Like, technically, he's Springtrap, but Springtrap's green, and a rabbit. So, he's not, like, the true villain. So, we gotta have, like, the true one out and everything. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for Purple Guy. I'm not super satisfied with it, but it's good enough for, like, getting a basic idea as to what he would look like. So, let's move on to our next minifigure. Okay, so next up on our list is Circus Baby. maybe a minifigure that I definitely wanted to make. I originally had ideas of like me of like putting Circus Baby in the previous wave with like Golden Freddy, the Marionettes, Springtrap, and all of those guys. But then I decided, you know what? Circus Baby's kind of a big character in her own game. You know, maybe we should put her in her own wave, in a special sort of wave. So I decided to do that. And it was pretty interesting of making this character. So I tried to get the torso like as close as I could to the original character design. I think it matched up pretty well. I'm not entirely certain about the back, but I couldn't find any reference about like what the back would look like because again, and based off of the game files, we never really get a good look behind. Actually, now that I think about it, we don't really get a good look at Baby until like towards the end of Sister Location. But anyways, probably the one thing that I wished that I had found a way to work it out would probably be the face, because it's not entirely as detailed as it's displayed in the game, and it's suddenly like one of those things for it's like when drawing out the face. Since I was hand drawing all of this and then going back with my biggest problem was figuring out like the position for the mouth and then for the little nose and the eyes. That when I got done of like putting the eyelashes in, I then realized I didn't have enough room to put in like the rest of the detailing. And I probably would have done it through a decal, but I kind of want to do it for like but for many of the Fnaf figures, I don't really use decals, so I kind of wanted to keep that up of having everything be like hand painted, hand drawn, and everything. So aside from the face, the rest of the figure turned out pretty good. The hair is completely made of clay. Like, it's completely made of molding clay. I almost had the idea of like using the hairpiece that I had for my Harley Quinn minifigure, but then I saw that the way how the hair is designed, it's a lot shorter than it actually is. It's a lot shorter than like the Lego one, so I decided not to go ahead with Lego and just to sculpt with my own. Though it was hard to do the pigtails and tails, especially of like getting the right size and shape to like try to make it as even as possible. It's not exactly even, but it came close enough. She's also got like her little microphone here on the left arm, and you can kind of see on the right hand. I tried to capture in her palm she has like this red dot into it, so I tried to capture that in. There's some detailing on the arms, like you can kind of see where the gray is. And if I position it a little bit, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's some gray, like, inside of Circus Baby's arm, and then, like, the lines represent of sort of, like, some of the wires and gears that are, like, in between the fingers, and I'd show, like, some of the rotation in the arms, but I can't really move the arms for two reasons. One, the paint sort of merged the arms into the torso, like it usually does. And two, I didn't realize it until I was like repositioning the arms for the head and the legs. But the arms for this had a couple of cracks in it. So, and I realized that like, oh no, if I pushed it any further, the hands would have broken through the arms and then they would have become useless. And that actually happened to me a couple of times. I've had a couple of minifigures where I was originally going to use it, but then I had to get rid of it. So, that wasn't entirely fun. Another thing I'm not fully satisfied with is probably the skirts. Like, a little bit off. But the skirts, it's a nice try for sort of like my own little design sort of thing. So definitely with Circus Baby, I wanted to do it to add it up with a skirt, but I don't have any of those parts like that. And since this was sort of like making sure that everything was done on time and everything, I wanted to make sure. I sort of had to improvise with my own like creativity. So I decided to take out my usual routes to just customize it. There's some detailing on the legs as well. I tried to squish as much as I could for the legs. Like you could see some of the gray components, and then of course like the whites and going near it, and then and of course, like where the kneecaps are supposed to be, used to be for like Circus Baby would like roll her roll her legs and everything, So, so pretty much the hard thing was finding the length of them, and I ran into the same problem when I did Samurai Batman. Of finding like the length of the legs, and then like once I found the length, that's what I would then put in the rest of the detailing. And like to conclude it off is also the feet. The feet were sort of a last minute addition that I did today. I was originally just gonna leave the minifigure off here of like painted the red shoes and everything, but then I thought like, you know what? Let's make it more proper. So I added in like these court jests. I added in like her little shoes. I think they're supposed to be like court jester kind of shoes to represent of her being a clown. Admittedly, I almost thought she had roller skates. Though I might have mistaken that with Scrap Baby. Does Scrap Baby have roller skates? I don't know. I didn't fully pay attention to the legs, but for a brief moment, I almost thought Circus Baby had roller skates. So I almost thought like, oh, I gotta put those on. Luckily, no, and that's sort of a good thing. Very good thing. So, because I don't know how I would be able to incorporate those onto a minifigure like this. So I gotta say, this is probably like one of my favorite FNAF minifigures. Again, I wish I could have done better on the face, but what passed is past, and also you gotta learn from your mistakes every once in a while. So yeah, that's pretty much Circus Baby. So let's go on ahead to our last minifigure here before we wrap the showcase up. So last up on our list is Ennard, which I'll point out before I continue on into the video, was actually a last minute decision. Originally, I was just gonna go with the plans on have Circus Baby and Purple Guy be in the showcase, but then I thought like, you know what? It's been a little while since I've done like a showcase with multiple minifigures, and I really like doing those kinds of videos, of like showing multiples rather than just like one or two. So I thought like, you know what? Let's do some minifigures. And plus, it's been a little while since I've made another weird one, and this one is no exception. Exceptions to what my crazy brain came up with. So with Ennard, as you can clearly see, it looks weird. That's if you're wondering what is he wrapped in. So for the body, I chose to go ahead with the same body that I used, like the same sort of skeletal body that I used when making Foxy. See, because Ennard has that kind of body that technically looks skeletal. In fact, he's actually made of endoskeleton. So, spoilers to anybody who has not played Sister Location, but pretty much Ennard is like a mixture of all the Funtime animatronics. And it's actually evident with the eyes. So, like, he's got Funtime Foxy's eyes, Ballora, Circus Baby, and Funtime Freddy's eyes. So they're like animatronics that have been killed. They've lost their skin, lost their shells, and they merged into this wired mess. I'm pretty much just gonna call it a wired mess, since I called Mangled a conjoined mess. This one is definitely this crazy weirdness. So I decided to go ahead with the skeleton to sort of match up with that description. And if you're wondering, like, what is he wrapped in? Then originally I was gonna go with wires, but I've had a problem with using wiring in the past, especially when it came to the projectionist. That was a nightmare in its own making, and I didn't want to go ahead with that again. And I even used the same techniques with that on archery bows, and those came out poorly. So I didn't want to use that material again. So instead, I used the material some of the cord that we use for like wrapping up bags for like keeping bread in, and then those sort of things. I had a few lying around, so I decided like, what if I wrap those up together and sort of like stagger them out as like wires. It's not completely like it on the game, but it does come close enough to give the description that he's made up of metal, of all these limbs and all these jointed out wires. Here's some are loose. Henceforth of why some of these are sticking out. Of why this one is over here. I really wanted to capture in that sort of crazy and that sort of like mangled kind of mess that he really goes on here. And he's also got like his big button like glued onto the front. Same thing with the legs and the eyepieces. Those are all glued on as well. The blue eye, that is completely painted in. So with the mask was actually something of a little new technique that I just wanted to try out to like really capture the size of the face. And what I did was I rolled out some clay. I then took like a highlighter that had like the hole underneath at the bottom on him, then stuck it into the clay, and it produced a little hole. He's also got like the small ears as well. I also painted on like his mouth and then his eye. You can kind of see like his closed eye for where it's. I don't know if in the actual game it's actually open or halfway shut. But it's there as well. I almost missed the eyebrows, but then when I double checked back on the photo, I realized like, oh, he's got eyebrows. So I quickly painted those back on. Like with Sammy Lawrence, I glued it onto the face, so that way it stay on. And then of course, he's got this little hat on his head, which is slightly bigger than it was supposed to be, because I wanted to make it a bit more Lego. I almost ran into a problem for, like, I would have the hat on top of the head for, like, I even built a little support stand underneath where it would go onto this piece, and it would stand up like that. But then when I double checked about, like, the position of the hat, I realized, like, oh no, that's incorrect, I gotta fix that. Need that. So I quickly went back and changed it up again. Changed it up a bit. And I'll say, this one is pretty weird. It's weirder than the other two, but it's not as weird as some of the others I've done. Like, I can still move this. Like, if I wanted to, I can still move this figure. Some. It's not as weird as Mangled or the Butcher Gang, but it does definitely fall into one of those categories. So again, Enyard was sort of a last-minute decision, but I'm glad I decided to go back and build these figures here, and it turned out pretty cool. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up, and then we'll discuss about some new cases coming up, and why I didn't do the other Funtime animatronics. So that pretty much does it for this episode of LEGO Arts, and if you're wondering why didn't I do the rest of the Funtime animatronics, the main reason is really I've reached dead ends. What I mean by that is that my brain is now slowly beginning to. It's nearly on the verge of like a creator's block. That I've been caught up in my own head and with my own brain of getting like another showcase up and running again. I still need to get like Kingdom Hearts 3 ready. I'm on the verge of completing that, so I really wanted to get that done. And it slowly came to the point for my brain and like couldn't come up with an entire idea. Like for Freddy and Foxy, those it'd be a little bit tricky, but I would probably find my way around it. Though it'd definitely be a little bit tricky of like the Bonnie puppy the puppet head. And I almost had ideas to do Ballora, but then I realized that I'd want to do those ideas with like specific parts that I don't have at the moment. So I'd want to get them at like a later date. And I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do Funtime Chica, because she's technically not not part of Sister Location. We only see her in Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator and kind of an Ultimate Custom Night, but not entirely, really. But it was one of those cases where it's like, oh, in my brain's current state of mind, I don't know if this would be a good idea. It's not really on the verge yet. But it's almost there. So, after I finish like the next episode and then the 50th special, I might need to take a short break, like a little step back, so that way my brain can restart itself and then be able to proceed through next. So I will do the other Funtime animatronics, but they'll be in another wave. So we'll consider this Sister Location Wave 1. Which is also Five Nights at Freddy's Wave 3. There we go. So speaking of KH3, it's almost done. Need to finalize a few things and then we'll be good to go. The next episode, I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I will give you a couple of hints. It's going to be revolving around a YouTuber, and he has been known for his Let's Plays on this particular series. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, that's. And then with Let's Plays wise, I mentioned earlier today that I'm gonna do proud mode on KH3. I plan to do that after the 50th special. Like after I do Lego Kingdom Hearts 3. After that, then I'll consider on restarting the game on proud mode. Redoing Subnautica again. I do plan to go back to the below zero, but probably not until they do another update for the Arctic DLC. So that way we can make sure that nothing crashes. And for like other game ideas, I've been thinking about maybe starting like a video game called God of War, but I haven't fully decided if that will be like a good series for the channel. I want to hear your guys' opinions. Do you think I should do God of War as like a series, or should I just stick to what I do, to what I got for now? Let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below, and then I'll consider my options. But otherwise, I really hope you guys enjoyed these minifigures. I've really put a lot of effort into these ones, especially Ennard and Circus Baby. These minifigures were probably one of the more challenging on the Fnafs that I've done, because they really required me to like fully think outside the box, detailing wise, and also a little bit on clay wise. Not too much as like Springtrap. That one so far, clay wise, was pretty tricky. But other than that, this was a pretty cool showcase. And as I mentioned before, once my brain gets a chance to recharge, I'll finalize plans of how to do Wave 2, version 2 of Sister Location, and it will bring in the rest of the Funtime crew. So anyways, if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps us work on Let's Plays, Lego projects, and we're mainly here to have some fun. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share this to your friends, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. And here's how for the road. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. What do you guys, Moon Rises?